My mother wasn't sad all the time. She gardened, she made pancakes, she told me we all deserved love. But sometimes at night I heard her crying. Then after a single date, the crying stopped. She started glowing, humming in the kitchen, talking about her new boyfriend, Tim. She said he was a gentleman. She said I would meet him soon, but I never saw him leave the house. The only time I ever saw Tim was the night I got scared by a movie and went to borrow my mom's audiobook. That's when I found him. Chained in our shower, bruised, taped. And that's when I realized my mother's garden wasn't just for growing flowers. It was where she buried her problems, permanently. My mother was a lonely woman. She didn't wear her sadness like a shroud. She functioned, made my lunches, tended her garden, smiled at the school gates. But the house held a quiet ache. At night, through the thin walls, I'd hear it. The muffled sobs, the whispered, desperate prayers to God, pleading for a man to complete our small family. Her therapy was the earth. Our backyard was a vibrant tapestry of her labor, explosions of zinnias, neat rows of vegetables, plump orange pumpkins come autumn. When I asked why she loved it so much, she'd look at the soil caked under her nails and say, "It's good for the soul. You can bury anything in here and it turns into something beautiful." She'd offer a smile, but it never quite reached her eyes. My father was a ghost, a story that ended before I began. I think she feared his absence would warp me, that I'd grow up stunted, unable to love properly. She was beautiful, my mom. I saw the way the other mothers' smiles tightened when she approached, how the fathers suddenly found reasons to offer their help with anything that needed fixing. She always declined with a polite, distant grace. There were dates. Tell me about them, her spirit lifting for a week or two before the invisible weight settled back on her shoulders. "Sometimes things don't work out," she'd sigh, stroking my hair. "But we all deserve love. I promise I won't ever give up on love." I dreamed of a stepdad who managed a toy store, who'd bring home ice cream and a puppy. But the years passed, and no one stayed. Then when I was 8, a shift occurred. After a date, the crying stopped, vanished. The next morning, she was a sunbeam in our kitchen, flipping chocolate chip pancakes, humming a tune I'd never heard. She seemed lit from within. "Was your date fun?" I asked through a mouthful of syrup. She sipped her coffee, a secret smile playing on her lips. "It was wonderful. We talked all about you. He was a perfect gentleman." Stars danced in her eyes. My own hopes soared. A family, road trips, a dad. "Is he nice? Can I meet him? Does he have a dog?" She laughed, a genuine light sound. "His name is Tim, and you'll meet him when the time is right." The crying was replaced by something new, the low murmur of voices from her room at night, a man's voice and hers, sometimes sounding tense. When I asked, she explained it away. "It's my new audiobook, honey. The doctor said it would help me relax." She showed me the library cases. I believed her. For weeks the glow continued. Our lives were a montage of perfect breakfasts and movie nights, but I never saw this Tim. "We have lunch while you're at school," she explained. "He can't wait to meet you." The fantasy solidified in my mind. He was kind, he was handsome, he was the answer. Then came the scary movie. I was brave until I wasn't, my courage shattered by a monster on the screen. My mom, asleep on the couch from a glass of wine, couldn't comfort me. Remembering her soothing audiobooks, I crept into her room to find the tape player. It wasn't on her nightstand. Thinking it might be in the bathroom, I pushed the door open and flicked on the light. The world froze. A man stood in the shower, clad only in ragged basketball shorts. A web of chains bound his ankles and wrists to the fixtures. His body was a canvas of bruises, sickly yellows and deep purples and angry red cuts. When the light hit him, he flinched, and his eyes locked onto mine. They weren't just scared. They were filled with a venomous, primal hate. A strip of silver duct tape sealed his mouth shut. I stumbled back, a scream caught in my throat. "Who are you?" He made frantic, muffled sounds, his eyes widening in a new, desperate panic. "I'm calling the police," I yelled, scrambling for her phone. I dialed 911, sobbing to the operator about a scary man in our house while the chains rattled a terrifying rhythm behind me. The phone was ripped from my hand and shattered against the wall. I looked up expecting the chained man. It was my mother. Her face was a mask of calm concern. "What are you doing, my love?" I babbled, pointing to the bathroom, telling her about the police. She listened, then pulled me into a hug. When I said I hadn't given our address, I felt her relax. "Good job, my baby," she cooed. "But Mom, he's in there. He's scary." "Oh, he isn't scary," she said, her voice dreamy as she led me back to the bathroom. The man's eyes followed us, pleading. "Honey, meet Tim. He's going to be your new daddy." My world tilted. Tim, her boyfriend. She gazed at him with a twisted affection. "We've been seeing each other for months. He's a great listener. He's lasted so much longer than the others." Others? When I refused to come closer, her sweetness evaporated. Her hand closed around my arm, tight enough to bleach the skin. "This is what you wanted," she said, her voice flat and cold. "You should be happy." The doorbell chimed, followed by a thunderous knock. "Police, open up." Her grip became a vice. "Do not open that door," she shrieked. I bit her hand, breaking free as I ran for the foyer. She chased me, but the door burst open. 2 officers stood there. My mom spun a web of lies about overactive imaginations and a boyfriend in the shower. But when the female officer knelt and asked me, gently, what was scary about the man, I told her. "He has bruises and tape on his mouth. Mom says he's her boyfriend." The silence that followed was heavier than any I'd ever heard. My mom's composure shattered. She launched herself at the officer with a guttural scream. "You can't have him. You can't take him from me." As they wrestled her to the ground and clicked the handcuffs around her wrists, I saw the woman I knew disappear, replaced by a stranger. They wheeled Tim out on a gurney. Our eyes met one last time, and a single, silent tear traced a path through the grime on his cheek. Later, as a kind officer stayed with me, I remembered my mom's words. "What about the others?" I asked. The officer's face went pale. "My mom said he did better than the others," I explained. "Does that mean there are other men in my house?" The officers exchanged a grave look. One asked me gently what my mom did when she was sad. "Oh," I said, a horrible understanding beginning to dawn in my 8-year-old heart. "She gardened. She said it soothed her soul because she could bury her problems." I didn't see the shovel work that followed, but I heard my aunt on the phone later, her voice hushed and horrified. "They found them in the yard, 6 of them." At her trial, after the guilty verdict, they asked my mother why. What reason could she possibly give? She turned to the courtroom, her face serene, and said in a voice as clear as the one she used to wish me good night, "Because we all deserve love, and I promise to never give up."